Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're taking another look at the 8 passengers Ruby Franke, Jodie Hildebrandt situation and just how bad it is, because new information has come to light. I know I'm a few days behind, so I'm sorry if you've already seen this or if I'm bringing this to you a little bit too late, but I'm just catching up now, and it is to do with the search warrants which have just been released regarding the case at the time when police went and searched the home of Jodie Hildebrandt. And what they found was insane, and it was very much distressing. So if you don't want to hear what happened or what they found, please don't go on, because that's what we're going to be discussing. But I do feel like it's an important discussion to have, so that this can't ever happen again, and also so that we know what the situation is with these two and what may happen to them going forward. So if you're interested, please take a breath and we'll get right into it. New search warrants obtained by 2 News details allegations of Jodie Hildebrandt using cayenne pepper and honey to dress wounds on the bodies of 2 of Ruby Franke's children, where they had allegedly been bound with duct tape, a medically dangerous and potentially painful use of the herb. Potentially painful, medically dangerous, using cayenne pepper, and so that actually happened. Its medical use aside, the presence of any type of remedy for the children's wounds proved Hildebrandt at best was aware of the abuse that was happening, authorities stated in the documents, because obviously if she's treating the wounds, then that means she knows the wounds exist, so she is aware of the abuse which she is carrying out. 2 separate warrants were signed and served on the day a 911 call was made by a neighbor of Jodie Hildebrandt in Ivins, Utah, with a child at the doorstep. That was Russell, who'd gone to the neighbor, and we've all heard the 911 call. It's very distressing. Officers found that the victim's mother, Ruby Franke, had left her 3 children in the care of Jodie Hildebrandt, one of the search warrant's affidavits states. Officers also found that Jodie Hildebrandt had posted several posts on social media and YouTube channels where she discusses mental health and family therapy. The irony of that is not lost on me whatsoever. But we all know the type of things that she used to post about mental health and family therapy. It wasn't really helpful to anybody. Things such as, depression is distortion, and if you have a bad child, you should kick them out of home, that sort of thing. That kind of advice, which is very harmful to people. That's what they used to tell people on their various platforms. According to the first warrant, a sergeant with the Santa Clara Ivins Police Department had reason to believe there were items described at Hildebrandt's address as property used in the commission of the criminal offence of child abuse. This warrant was executed around 2 p.m. on August 30th, 2023. In a statement included in the affidavit for the search warrant, upon arrival, officers found that a 12-year-old victim had duct tape around their ankles and appeared to be emaciated because the victim was abnormally thin and weak. Again, we must think about the absolute twats, the morons, the horrible human beings that actually did this to a 12-year-old. Absolutely disgusting. Ruby and Jodie, they really need to be locked away for a very, very long time. The affidavit continued to say that medical personnel removed the duct tape and located open wounds. The victim informed officers and medical personnel that the wounds were from the rope that was used to tie the victim to the ground, said the statement establishing grounds for the search warrant. The victim informed officers that Jody put the ropes on their ankles and wrists and that they used cayenne pepper and honey to dress the wounds. While cayenne pepper has long been an ingredient used for medicinal purposes, it should not be used on cracked skin or open wounds. So it's a medicinal properties it has, but don't put it where you've got like cuts and grazes and all that lot, right? According to the affidavit, officers conducted a protective sweep and located one juvenile who was reluctant to speak with the officers. They also identified a possible safe room in the basement that is locked, and it is unknown if anyone is inside. So, according to the search warrant, they thought there might be possibly another person inside. There was a room which was locked, and they didn't know what was inside it or if anybody was inside it, and they needed to gain access to that. The affidavit ended with the officer's request to obtain any and all evidence relating to child abuse and access to the possible safe room to determine that no one else was inside. According to the search warrant, officers seized Scott's tape and saran wrap, along with papers, notes, a journal, 2 bowls containing a red liquid with a metal spoon, 2 super absorbent dressings, 2 Coban bandages with 4 white ankle socks, 3 sets of a brown and white rope, 2 handcuffs, and 3 carabiners. I have the images in my head now, because it's clear with all these things that they've recovered, it's so distressing, but it paints an awful picture of a child, multiple children, being bound and just tortured, really. And then Jodie's coming along with her like magic potion, trying to cure the wounds which she's caused. It's sick. Really, really sick. Beyond sick. There was no further mention of the possible safe room in the search warrant. So a warrant for communication between Jodie and Ruby, recordings of alleged abuse. The second search warrant was signed just before 5:30 p.m. on August 30th with a request for any and all cell phones, audio recordings, computers, tablets, laptops, surveillance footage, doorbell cameras, and any other communication device used to send text messages or emails to other audio-visual communications. The warrant specifically requests to obtain any devices from Jodie Hildebrandt or her home where she may have had communication with Ruby Franke. According to the return document for the search warrant, 3 Apple iPhones and 4 Apple MacBook computers were seized. A third search warrant was signed the day after officers arrived at the home on August 31st, just before 8 a.m. The detective with Santa Clara Ivans Police Department requested Jodie Hildebrandt's iPhone, saying she was in possession of the phone when officers made contact with her. There is no documentation of a return made on the search warrant, therefore it's unknown if Jodi's phone was seized. However, new information presented itself in the affidavit for this search warrant. 2 News learned the 12-year-old was transported to an area hospital and was placed on a medical hold due to his deep lacerations from being tied up with rope and from his malnourishment. This document also outlines how the 12-year-old's 10-year-old sibling was also determined to be malnourished by medical professionals. This affidavit also outlines the search warrant on Jodi Hildebrandt's home, mentioning that officers located 2 used medical gaze dressings near cayenne pepper and honey paste. So as you can see, that is highly distressing information coming out recently about this case, and I don't really know what to say about that, except for it's really distressing and it's really horrible, and what those kids must have gone through is really bad, really upsetting, and I can't stop thinking about just how big a twat Ruby and Jodi actually were to actually do this to those poor children, to do this. Ruby to her own children, and Jodi, what the seriously, what the hell? What's wrong with her? Honestly, I really hope she gets a hard time in prison. Really do. And I wouldn't usually say that, but I feel it. That's how I feel. So I'm sorry. Anyway, if you have appreciated this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, comment all your thoughts about this down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Until next time, have a lovely day, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.